Sirius XM. Sirius XM. The Opie and Anthony Show.
Hey, hi to Josh Gad entering the studio.
Gad in here. Egad, it's Josh Gad.
Josh Gad, everybody.
Yes, sir.
You know, Josh, I got to ask right off the bat because I was walking back from the bathroom, and you were talking music with Roland and said it's one of the best concerts ever. What was it?
I think if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's that Aussie band who has like that Disney Channel show, the Wiggles.
They are terrific.
I think that's one
Yeah, that's...
No, we were talking about...
I got late at one of those shows.
We were talking about Bruce Springsteen. I've never seen Springsteen live, and one of the all-time great moments of my life was Springsteen came to see Book of Mormon, and he comes up to me after and he goes, "Man, you've got a sick voice on you. It's really weird, but it's so cool." And I was like, that's, by the way, my Springsteen impression, which
Wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's just like he's kind of on his deathbed. And,
it's cool. Yeah.
It was mellow, Bruce.
It was very mellow, stoned Bruce, but he was lovely. So I'm dying. So I think I just hooked myself up with tickets to Springsteen. If any of you guys want to go with me,
I saw him a year ago. I saw Bruce for the first time, and I'm like, why the
Apollo
fuck?
Theater we saw him.
And you guys saw him at the Apollo. I go, why the fuck have I not seen Bruce
I know,
before
I've
now?
never.
He's amazing live.
He's amazing.
I'm a Springsteen fan. I'm not over the top huge, but
He's the Cyndi Lauper of his generation.
I'll say. Not quite that good.
Not quite, but he's getting there.
Cyndi Lauper still dresses like Cyndi Lauper too.
I love
Some of the
Cyndi.
girls just want to have fun here.
Girls just want to have fun.
She still dresses like that.
I love it.
Yeah,
I find it sexy.
It's delightful.
She wrote a musical that's pretty astounding.
That's what people are saying.
I got to tell you, man.
People are saying.
People are talking on the Broadway circuit about that show. It's
she's
really
very
good.
talented,
It's
I
really
guess.
good.
What's it called?
It is called Kinky Boots.
Ooh.
I should get paid by the producer for promoting a show
really
that I'm not
should.
in.
Yes, you should.
I was trying to get tickets for Kinky Boots for my sister and niece.
Really?
Struck
I could
out.
hook you up. I know people.
It's too late now.
No, it's never too late.
All right.
It's never too late.
2 tickets for today.
It's too late. It's actually way too late.
Well, they asked me last minute too, and they want to take us to your old play,
How old is your niece?
Book of Mormon. She's in the business actually. She's in theaters.
Okay, so she's not
20,
like-
21-ish.
Oh, I'm
21,
thinking
I
like
think.
a 6-year-old niece.
No, she's in the business. She's going to school for it and everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she's doing all right too.
Well, I can get her tickets to that. I'm not in it anymore.
She's from
but-
Florida. They're only
I'm
here
from
like
Florida.
Today. What part?
I'm from South Florida. I'm from Hollywood, Florida.
Oh, right by Fort Lauderdale.
And that's exactly
Where the
You played
Improv is technically in Hollywood, yeah. It's the Hard Rock Cafe.
That's where what's her
It's
name
a great
died.
venue, isn't it?
I think
It
he
is,
did this
yeah.
bit. What's her name died there?
Yes.
That's what you guys are known for.
Anna Nicole
Marilyn
Smith.
Monroe.
Anna Nicole Smith died.
Nicole Smith.
Died in Hollywood,
Tits
Florida.
McGillicuddy.
Tits McGillicuddy.
Tits McGillicuddy
Yes.
died. Yeah.
Too soon.
Yes,
Too soon.
Yeah.
Are you playing Sam Kinison? I know you're here to talk about jobs, but are you really playing Sam Kinison?
I really am playing
Because you
Sam
got a
Kinison.
lot of Sam Kinison fans in the studio.
I know I do.
Huge
I'm terrified about it.
He's one of my favorites of all time.
He's one of my favorites of all
Really?
time.
That's a
Yeah.
big fucking like.
Don't even get me started.
I know. I'm just
I've
saying.
already
it's-
started drinking a lot of tea and honey and taking throat lozenges.
Yeah.
Just the screaming alone is brutal. But no, I'm really super terrified, excited. My first experience was my brother was a huge Kinison fan,
Right.
And so he shows me this movie when I'm like 10 years old. It's this Rodney Dangerfield film, and I'm looking at it, and it's really funny. And then all of a sudden, this Force of Nature comes on. It's like the first time I realized what a scene stealer was.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's this guy? And then I started to watch his HBO specials, and I started to see, all this stuff and Wild Thing and everything else, and then listen to his Stern stuff, and I was just like, this is a force of nature. It's a guy that kind of redefined comedy, I think, for a lot of comedians. And so it's terrifying to fill those
That
shoes.
Dangerfield special was huge.
Oh, my God.
It was just like
It was crazy.
Everyone else that was on that one, go fuck
Who
yourself.
else was on his? I mean, I know on Dice's there was a few
and there
people.
were a few other people that I think actually was Roseanne on the same one Kinison
She
was
might
on.
have been.
I think she finished off.
I think you might be
the
right.
night.
Yeah. My favorite about that thing was that Rodney would warn people about it. Like, it always came with a disclaimer.
Yes.
It was never just, you know, hey, here's another comic. It was always like, you got to be prepared for this guy. It's going to fuck your mind.
Boy, that's some big shoes to fill right there.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for making me feel really...
But, you know, how you take solace in the fact that you just look at what Michael Chiklis did after the Belushi thing that he did. Oh, he didn't work for 10 years.
Yeah,
but...
no, that makes me feel a lot better. Makes me feel a lot better.
Commish.
That's good.
My God.
That's great. I'm going to have a 10-year respite from acting.
How are you preparing? Are you doing stand-up?
I'm just going to, I'm going to go do some stand-up. I'm going to, Larry Charles, who is the director of Borat and the director of kind of all of Sacha Cohen's stuff, is directing the movie, and he comes from that world, so he's hooking me up with a lot of a lot of amazing.
Are you going to grow your hair out, or are you going to wear a wig?
I'm going to try to grow my hair out and then dye it, and you know, I also just lost a ton of weight for a movie, so I have to put the weight back. It's going to be an interesting ride. We're not filming probably for another 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So I've got time, but it's going to be a lot.
Is this script yet?
Yeah, script's great. It's written by Rich Worrell.
And what does it cover in Sam's life?
I can't really talk about it right now. Because
you can. You're just not allowed.
Of course you can. You do have vocal cords, don't you?
Man. But it's
you can if you want to be a pussy.
But it's going to be which I am. I've been called that a lot. In fact, by my daughter this morning. No, it's going to cover a nice chunk of time, and it's going to be a great introduction to people who didn't know Sam.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great reminder to people who did know him.
Are you going to talk to people who knew him? Like
I am. I'm already sorry. I spoke to
Alan Stevens,
and you know, I already spoke to Robin Williams, and it just kind of getting a feel from like all of his contemporaries of what it was like. I mean, there's stories about him walking into clubs with a loaded gun. It's just like you see some comics who were actually terrified of playing the same club as him because it was he was a force of nature and he was dangerous. He was just a dangerous guy.
Real life dangerous, not phony.
No, real life dangerous is right.
Yeah.
So
are you going to take anal nitrate?
I am going to take anal nitrate.
Actually, I call it anal nitrate.
I'm going to take anal nitrate.
Anal nitrate, okay.
Yeah, again.
And what about Carl LeBeau? You got to talk to him.
I'm planning on talking to him.
Yeah, that's very cool.
There's a lot of work to be done.
Jimmy
Please
Schubert
remind me.
used to go with those guys.
You got to hook me up with some of these guys. You know these.
Yeah, I know some of the guys. I only met him once.
What was that like?
I was doing an open mic at Rascals while he was headlining the main room. And so Ward Magnuson, the guy who ran the club, brought Sam out to meet some of the younger comedians. And it was funny because he staggered out like he was too drunk to talk, and we're like, oh, fuck. But then he just started fucking around, and he stood there for about 5 minutes and just, I don't even remember what he said. I got him to sign a napkin. He was really nice.
Sounds like a scene for the movie, Jim.
Actually, what if that's the entire, what if the entire movie covers it from Jim's point of view? It's like that day that Sam fucked him over but signed a napkin.
We talked for a little while.
Yeah, I think we may have to do some rewrites.
5 minutes of his life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm doing that.
Stretched out to 90 minutes.
I'm doing that, and then I'm playing Steve Wozniak, and pretty much I just want to do kind of people who were important in the 1980s.
Right,
I'm
there
gonna
you go.
do like a collection of films about guys.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Alan Thicke? You're going to play Alan Thicke at some point. He's very important in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be
double threat, a singer and actor.
It says here Josh plays Steve Wozniak, in Jobs. And then it says later, he will portray Steve Wozniak alongside Ashton Kutcher as Steve Jobs in the biopic Jobs.
Yes.
Oh, again.
So, yeah, it's good to have it twice.
Yeah, I just they wanted you guys to know, in case you didn't read the first bulletin, that I'm playing Steve Wozniak, a.k.a. The Woz.
You're the godfather of Bryce Dallas Howard?
No, I'm not her godfather because we're the same age. I'm her children's godfather.
Oh, okay, because...
of course, that's wrong.
Oh, okay. And Seth Gabriel's son, Theo.
Seth Gable, yeah. Seth,
I'm sorry. Okay,
her husband and I have known each other since we were 5 years old. We've been best friends, and so I've been fortunate enough to know them. And
let's be serious, though. It's not hard to be best friends at 5. What do you got? A fucking Matchbox car?
We had a drug problem that we both had to help each other get out of that age.
Then
we anal nitrates.
Anal nitrates. Dope.
Yeah.
Right.
You played Warren on Bored to Death. Was that the boyfriend who came back and she was fucking her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Jimmy was in that.
Yeah, I was probably in like the next episode or whatever.
Did I leave an impression?
I remember that because
I was in a tank top and I'm fucking her, taking her from behind in bed as Schwartzman is like, really?
Yes, I believe it was. We did a table read. There was 3 episodes we read. And that was, you were probably the read the same day I was, because you guys went through it before. I don't know how I know that, but I do. I think I read it.
Yeah.
I left an impression.
You did.
I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, Warren.
It's a funny goddamn scene.
It was a good scene.
But the Woz. Now you're playing the Woz.
I'm playing the.
Did you meet the Woz?
No, I didn't. We reached out to him. Steve Wozniak is consulting on another Jobs film, so. It was one of those.
One where Brad Pitt is playing him, I hear.
That's right.
He's getting a little closer to that movie.
Too close.
He demands that Brad Pitt plays him.
Jimmy.
Is he? Jimmy is actually like legitimately concerned. No, I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I adore him. I feel like I've met him because God knows I've done enough research to figure out his gait, his speaking pattern, and everything else. But he's an amazing guy. I mean,
isn't it just like the history of those guys and what they did on the level they did it? True entrepreneurship and just having an amazing idea like that.
Not only having an amazing idea, but like to build that shit in a garage,
right?
And then to like just have the capacity to make what literally was a mom and pop shop and turn it into a $1 billion
empire,
Fortune 500 empire is crazy. And my knowledge of the legacy of Jobs and Apple in particular was everything kind of post iPod. That was kind of my reference point for it all. And I was very young when, the other stuff was happening.
Most people only know.
Yeah. And you forget that he was fired from Apple. A man who is synonymous with Apple was fired from the company and then came back only years later after he was at Next.
Which, to a huge victory.
Huge victory.
Like he fucking came back and changed everything.
But that's the thing. It's one of the great redemption stories.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's never framed that way. It's always framed. The cult of Jobs is framed as kind of this thing that existed in this box that was, everything that we now know, the iPod, the iPad, the revolution of music, and everything that kind of came before that is, in many ways, to my generation at least, a forgotten footnote.
There was some kind of a time where Apple was looked at as more of the hippie-ish kind of fucking artsy-fartsy thing.
You remember that
and
little
the
little blue egg kind of oval shape?
Yeah.
That's kind of
I want that on
I remember
my desk,
seeing that and being like, what is that? It's a Mac. I'm like,
I'd rather have the square white tower that runs Windows on my computer, on my desk and stuff. And then when he came back and they started branching out into other things than only computing, and phones and whatnot, it just changed everything.
Well, that's what it was for me. Is I remember somebody introducing the iPod to me, and I realized that this device could be fully integrated with all of these other devices, and it just created such simplicity and ease for somebody who's not a techie like myself. And it was amazing because I had always been a Windows guy, and I was terrified of making that leap. And then my wife was like, you got to try this Mac thing, and I've never gone back. I now have every Apple device available to man. Yeah,
it really is amazing, and there are two whole different things with Jobs beginning. Before his return and after.
What was the crossover that made it mainstream? What was the thing? The iPod?
I think
iPod was huge.
But you were right. Only really hip people got the Mac. What was the cross where it finally went, now it's mainstream?
I'll tell you exactly when it was. I remember coming to L.A. in like 2003 after college and seeing this giant billboard of a silhouette dancing on Sunset Boulevard. And I remember going, what the hell is that thing? And that's when I realized that it had become something else, that it had become this pop culturally relevant thing, that it had otherwise been a very niche marketplace.
If you remember before the iPods, Discman, you still walked around with a physically moving motorized thing on your arm with you're an idiot.
Don't you?
Yeah, you changed.
But you have the audio cassette one.
I certainly do.
You actually have a portable record player that you walk around with.
I had a Discman.
But he literally only plays In Your Eyes on a boombox, walking down the street every day.
Holding it over his head, trying to find love.
Double cassette.
And as long as you didn't move, the Discman worked perfect.
Discman, like,
as long as you didn't fucking move a muscle.
Your music collection had to physically be carried with you, either cassettes or discs or whatnot. And when you finally really thought about this little fucking thing is holding so many songs, instantly accessible. You're not changing things.
How many songs
it changed the game.
How many songs is the first?
Two. It was two songs.
Two songs.
It was
very
A and B. All right.
And they were. No, the thing was that I remember even getting an early generation MP3 player and being like, I wanted to.
Right.
I wanted to like it, but I could never wrap my head around it. I'm like, it's too complicated.
Very complicated to get songs on it, to use it. It wasn't. The interface wasn't very friendly or anything. They really figured it out, and it was.
Thank you.
You really figured. Oh, wait
thank you. I appreciate
you
that.
play the guy.
Oh, wow. Really seriously.
I don't think Woz had much to do with the iPod.
How much? When did Woz kind of break off from that whole thing?
Interestingly enough, we don't really show this part in the film, but Steve Wozniak was in a plane crash. In the early 80s, and really severe. He was flying the plane, and he suffered like memory loss.
Jesus.
For about a month, and it kind of changed him completely in a way that he stepped away from Apple, and he decided that he wanted to pursue more kind of personal goals like teaching, and he did that music festival that people forgot about. That was like,
oh, remember that thing?
That's right. He did this crazy music festival twice actually, and so he started to go off on his own. He developed one of the first universal remotes, and like he just kind of went after his own niche in life.
How much of that Apple cash did he wind up skating away with?
Not as much as you would think.
Yeah?
He's a very generous person, so he gave away a lot of his money to people who worked on the team with him, who were otherwise kind of left in the dust. And that's kind of one of the other unsung heroic things that he did that people don't really know.
Well, Steve Jobs, meanwhile, just kept every penny.
And
I hear kicked homeless people.
Yep.
As he was walking down the street.
Well documented. That he kicked marsupials. He went he went down under and he hurt marsupials because they're one of the cutest species. But I had never heard about the homeless people. That hurts. That bothers me more than the marsupials.
Yes.
That really bothers me.
Wow, that's and as far as casting goes, a lot of people thought it was kind of a weird choice.
Well, then they're
Steve
dicks,
Jobs.
aren't they?
Well, yeah. But
by people we mean Ashton Kutcher. He didn't like it.
You know, Ashton is fucking uncanny. I mean, if you hold up a picture of young Steve Jobs to a regular picture of Ashton Kutcher before he's even in makeup, it's pretty creepy how similar they are.
No one ever thought that until it was done. And then you kind of like, wow,
in fact, I don't know
is.
that you can find somebody in Hollywood that looks as much like Steve. So it kind of, it was kind of like, oh, well, it's the guy from 2.5 Men, but at the same time, it's kind of a genius move because people don't expect it. And having seen the film 3 times now, I can tell you that he does an astounding job in it. He's really remarkable. But he also just physically resembles the man in a way that's really cool.
Yeah, and, you know, he's an A-lister.
He's an A-lister. He's making a lot more money than the 4 of us combined. So he's doing something right, I think.
You'd be surprised what my salary is. Your salary couldn't trip out. That's arguably the best cunty wife line in the history of television.
Alice, I don't want my salary to leak out. Your salary couldn't drip out.
Fucking what a lightning strike that was.
It really was genius.
So when are people going to be able to see this?
August 16th.
August 16th.
Yes.
A week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow.
A week out.
It's a great movie. It's really inspirational, and I think people are going to
And
really
does this leads up to how far in Mr. Jobs' life there?
It leads up to his bar mitzvah. It's
wow.
a lot of people don't even know that he was Jewish early on. And,
wow.
And then it leads up to the launch of the iPod.
Oh, okay. You say iPad, very, very funny.
iPod.
Okay.
It's a British way of saying iPad.
Teasing, of course, sir.
iPod.
iPod.
So yeah,
iPod.
and then I got a film coming out in September called Thanks for Sharing with Mark Ruffalo, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Tim Robbins that is also really amazing.
Ooh, what's that about?
Sex addiction.
Really?
And
Why are you
look
looking at
right
Jimmy?
Jimmy Norton.
Because I saw him get a little twinkle in his eye when I said it. He's like,
I wasn't consulted
Yes.
on this film.
Yeah, Jimmy would
You
be
should
great.
have been.
I will.
You
Jimmy,
should
I'm
have
sorry
been.
about that.
Should have been the consultant.
You pulled a Waz on us. You're consulting on another sex addiction film.
Yes, I am.
On a
The Jim
competing
Norton
sex addiction
story.
film. And then I'm doing a movie with Kevin Hart.
Oh, cool.
Now you're just bragging.
I am.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I'm gonna go away to Costa Rica and buy a home. That,
What are you doing?
We're going to
Kevin
wing on
Hart?
over to London and jam with the Stones.
doing a movie with Kevin called The Golden Tux, which is basically my guy is this guy who's about to get married, and his fiance wants him to have as many groomsmen as she has bridesmaids, and he has no friends, so he has to hire a consulting firm called Best Man Incorporated that Kevin Hart runs to basically hire all my groomsmen to
nice.
pretend to be my friends. It's going to be really genius, and the script is one of the funniest scripts I've ever read.
Rom-com? Rom-com?
It's a rom-com.
You're
romantic
gonna be
comedy.
pretty much lead guy in a rom-com.
I am.
Damn.
Hence this staggering weight
That is
losses.
pretty cool.
They don't let fat people have love stories. I found out. I found out the
No.
hard way.
Yeah.
Unless at the end Gwyneth Paltrow makes the speech about how beauty is only skin deep.
That's right.
They couldn't even give the fucking fat lady in the movie the speech that meant something.
In Shallow Hal?
In Shallow Hal. Should be Shallow Hollywood. They had to give it to. They had to give it to
the
the
beautiful
good-looking
person,
woman. It's
right.
amazing that
Of course.
industry.
They were too scared. to do
That
it the
said,
other
I
way.
would much rather hear it from Gwyneth Paltrow. So, otherwise I would have just said, "Shut up, fatty," and thrown oats at her.
How much weight did you lose?
I lost 30 pounds.
Wow.
I actually had to lose it for the Zach Braff movie that I'm working on now, too. So it was just kind of... And then I've got to put it all back on for Kinison, so it's great.
Oh, my God.
My heart is like, this is a fucked up life you're living.
It's
there.
like
Right?
make a decision.
Yeah,
is
it's
what
make
your
a
heart's
decision,
saying.
exactly.
You do a
What are
lot
we
of
gonna do
fucking
here?
film work, man.
Book of Mormon was good to you.
Book of Mormon was great to me, boys.
That was the launching pad,
Remember
right?
when you guys were like, "You're gonna fucking fail," and I said, to you, "No, I'm not. I'm not. Trust me."
Saying that.
And look at me now. This is the third time you've had me on. Something's going right, bitches.
He's just come back here to gloat.
We
now.
still talk about Book of Mormon. We were
Let's
just
do it,
blown
guys.
away
Let's,
by
let's
that.
sing a song together from the show.
I'd
Come
love
on.
to.
How many generations are they in now?
How many generations?
Meaning it was you, then someone took over for you. Has someone now taken over for that guy?
Yes, they're on like their 6th version of me, I think.
Wow.
You know, they've gone through quite a few. But Nikki is still there, who played Nabaloo.
Nikki
Sure.
St. James, right?
What a great voice.
Nikki James,
Oh,
and
James,
and
She was in once.
She's amazing.
She was great.
she
We
was
loved
not
her.
in once.
She was here with us, with you.
Oh, she was in. I thought you meant the show once.
No.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you're just being racist, and that's just inappropriate.
How about Michael Potts?
Michael Potts is in the show. He left for a little bit to go do something on HBO, but he's back in the show.
Good.
A lot of the original cast is still there, and
You're
and
gone. Andrew Reynolds is gone.
Rory
How about
O'Malley's
Rory?
gone.
Oh, Rory left.
Rory left.
Oh, where'd he go?
Rory's actually doing a show right now at Second Stage, and then he's getting ready to do an adaptation, also at Second Stage, of Little Miss Sunshine, where he's playing the what's it called role? What's his name?
Steve Carell?
Steve Carell, thank you.
Yeah. I just
job.
picked one of them.
Yeah, that was really good,
I'm
actually.
Like,
It could have,
all
but
right.
you could have
It
gone
can't
wrong.
be the
little
Alan
girl.
Arkin part.
Could have been the
Could
little
have been
girl.
the little girl, of course.
Yeah.
Could have been the little girl. How bad would you feel if Bruce Springsteen went to every single person that played your part and told them what a great voice he
how
had?
much better
Like,
Yeah.
He just keeps going on and going, hey, man, you got a great voice.
He actually says that after every Broadway show.
Doesn't matter what you're
He literally went to
It's his
Phantom of
thing.
the Opera last week, and he was like, "Hey man, you got a sick voice." He said that to Michael Crawford back in 1988.
That's his addiction.
Yeah,
He has to
it's
go
his-
backstage at every
He
Broadway
gets him
show.
off every time he goes backstage.
Oh, yeah.
You got a sick voice.
Hey, man.
Did you have Book of Mormon nightmares? Did you?
I had a Book of Mormon nightmare on stage once when I literally forgot my line.
you told us
I
that.
shit you not,
man.
and it took me a minute of just pure silence, and I literally finally said, "What the fuck is my line?" in front of a live audience. It was so
Wow.
bad that I couldn't hear them saying the line. It was a nightmare.
You were
like
just panicking?
It wasn't even panic. It was like seeing the white light, and like no English words were coming to me. Like I've done up on lines before, and you just improv your way out of it. But there was an actor who will remain nameless, fucking like texting and
Bruce
rolling his
Willis.
eyes in the front.
He's greedy
by the way,
and
what
lazy.
was that about? Stallone and Willis. Come on, guys, you got to put this behind you.
I know,
we need
right?
an Expendables 3 with the two. We
Harrison
need it with
Ford.
Harrison Ford, though, right?
Josh?
It's going to be amazing.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
That's all you need to
Belong in
know.
a museum.
I hope at some point he goes, I got a bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Wait,
My
there was an
favorite
actor-
Harrison.
Sorry, there's an actor up front texting and that distracted
And that
you.
pissed you off.
Distracted me and fucking angered me.
Good
and
for you.
so
What an asshole.
it's good for me. So I went up on my lines and gave him more reason to hate the show.
Yeah, boy, you
I
sure
really showed him.
Did he hate it? He couldn't have hated the show.
Yeah, he was a douchebag. He did hate the show.
Man, I got to know who this is.
I'll tell you guys when the mics are off.
All right.
And then we'll tell you people.
No, we don't do that ever.
I'm kidding.
But it was really fucked up.
By the way,
Damn,
do you know
that
what I was
sucks.
thinking? I'm sorry to interrupt. I listened to it the other day again. It made me laugh. Was that fucking the song "Sleep Now, Little Bird"? and then when you do the overly dramatic, I don't remember. Sleep now. He's like,
Evening star shines brightly.
it was
Yes,
so.
it was.
It's just you just
I did that
dramatic
to
it
make
up.
Trey and Matt laugh one day. That's the best shit. Is like when you just are trying to make Trey and Matt laugh, and then somehow it's made its way into its 6th incarnation of the show now.
no
where
kidding.
people are like doing this thing that I did as an inside joke in a rehearsal. It's fucking surreal.
That's pretty cool.
But my favorite Harrison Ford line reading of all time, Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. He's talking to Kate Capshaw, and he's inside that little cave.
Yeah.
And he looks at Shorty and goes, "We are going to die." My favorite Harrison
That's a
Ford
good
line
one.
reading of all time.
And then
It's
the
amazing.
fucking ceiling's coming down. And
Yeah,
the
ceiling's-
spikes are
yeah.
coming out.
Oh,
there.
so good.
Fucking
It was
great.
underrated, isn't it?
Which
Oh,
one?
I
Temple
love
of
that.
Doom.
I liked Temple of Doom a lot.
so.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. I thought that one was
ripping out
good.
the heart.
Oh, yeah.
You ever see Romance in the Stone?
Oh,
Guy that has nothing to add, so he picks a similar genre movie to make himself involved in the conversation.
Josh has to
Star
go.
Wars. Hey, Battlestar Galactica. Oh, yeah,
Josh.
sorry. He's promoting
Jobs.
jobs.
jobs for the Obama administration, not the movie. I'm just I'm
Promoting
promoting
jobs
yeah.
and jobs.
Yes.
Jobs on jobs.
Yes.
Could we hear you do Kinison, or is that?
Not yet,
Not
but
yet?
soon.
All right.
I will launch Into the Scream on your show when the time is right.
There is the
right.
screen.
And
there.
I'm going to call you, brother. I really want to talk to you. You're on my to-do list.
Okay, sure.
I used to do a Kinison impression for Howard.
Let's hear it.
I would, but it wasn't the screamy one. It was the one I would call him on the phone and be like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? Yeah, hanging out, you know." And it would be like, kind of go back and forth. But the scream one thing is just too much, man.
Yeah, it's
You know who
just
does that
issues,
well? Craig Gass.
Craig Gass.
Do you know
yes,
Craig?
Yes, I've actually.
That son
Yeah,
of a bitch
Craig
does
is
a good
pretty goddamn
Kinison,
good.
man.
Yeah, he does. In fact, I've been looking at it.
Yeah, he's really
Stealing some shit.
It's sometimes a lot easier to get an impression watching someone doing an impression than it is to watch the real guy.
Because you actually you understand and into it that you wouldn't have thought about otherwise.
Yeah, that little quirky thing or something. It's like, and it's a little bit overdone, maybe.
Yeah,
So
and he's got a complicated because he's from Oklahoma too, so he's got a little twang in his voice, and the
there's
son of a
almost like
preacher, so he's got that
preacher thing going. Yeah.
It's really I'm gonna fail. I think I'm gonna fail. The more I think about it, the more I'm like I'm destined.
There's a
to
buzz
fail.
out there.
I bet
Michael
it's gonna
Chiklis of
roll.
my generation.
Michael Chiklis.
There's a buzz out there about you playing Sam Kinison. You feeling good about your Sam though when you're practicing it in the shower?
I am.
All right.
Are you worried?
No.
I can't wait to. No, I'm a huge Kinison fan. I can't wait.
I know. I'm
and we're
not
fans
gonna,
of yours. All
I
kidding
promise
aside,
I'm not gonna do it.
We're looking forward to
unless
this.
I know I can fucking kill
I can't
it.
wait to
Yeah.
go to the movies with my arms folded and go, oh, Sam wouldn't have done that.
With that, we got to get Josh Gad out of here.
August 16th?
Yes.
It's in theaters.
Week from
Jobs.
Friday, yes.
And you're Josh Gad on Twitter. Is that 1A or 2? I always spell your name wrong.
1A,
Gad.
you
Okay.
dick.
It is G-A-D. I thought
Man, what the fuck?
I don't know.
It's not
I thought
Josh
Gad.
Gad.
Josh Gad!
No. I mean J-A.
That would be so annoying to
Go through life that way.
I love you guys. I'll see you soon.
Absolutely, Josh.
Josh.
So much, guys.
Absolutely.
Continued success.
Hey, you too. I think the show has at least another year left in it.
Oh,
nice.
fuck, really? We're
believe
hoping
you're
for only a couple months.
After these messages,
The Opie and Anthony Show.
we'll be right back.